Hi, my name is Kiosha Smith, and today we're going to be doing skill set 6, and it's non-sterile compounding of an ointment. So before we begin, we have to do our calculations for the prescription that is given to us. So today our patient is Major Davidson, and that's who we're going to be doing the prescription for. So we have our nitroglycerin ointment, which is 2%, and then we have our ointment base. Okay, so for our calculations, we are going to be doing the calculations for the nitroglycerin ointment, which is this thing right here. And how we'll figure that out is we have to take the 0.2% of the nitroglycerin ointment times the 60 grams of the ointment base, which equals 12. So with that calculation, we'll take 12 and we'll divide it by 2, which equals 6 grams. So 6 grams of the, so 6, which is the 12 divided by 2, is 6 grams of the nitroglycerin ointment, which is, that's exactly what we're going to need to weigh on this thing. So 6 grams. So again, for the nitroglycerin ointment, which is 0.2%, we are going to calculate and do our equation, which is 0.2, multiply it by 60 grams, which equals 12. We'll take the 12x, 12 divided by 2, which equals 6. So 6 grams of nitroglycerin ointment. That's what we're going to need. Let's see. So with the ointment base, which is this, we are going to minus it by the 6 grams that we calculated, that we just calculated, which will give us 54 grams. So we'll be weighing 6 grams of the nitroglycerin ointment and then 54 grams of the ointment base. So after we got all of that, all of our weights that we are going to be weighing on this thing, we have to figure out our margin of error. So when we're weighing things, when we're weighing ointments and stuff like that, there's not going to be an exact weigh every single time. So we have to know our margin of error and what margin of error means. So with how we figure that out is we take the 6 minus 0.6, which equals 5.4 grams, which is our minimum allowable weight. And how I got the 0.6 is that we take the 6 grams from the nitroglycerin ointment and we multiply that by 0.1, which equals 0.6. So we take the 6 grams minus 0.6, which equals 5.4 grams, which is our minimum allowable weight. And how I got the 0.1 is we always plus or minus 10% of our margin. So to get our minimum and maximum allowable weight. So that 5.4 grams that I just explained for the minimum weight is for the nitro ointment. So the nitro ointment is, remember, it's 6 grams. So our minimum weight of that would be 5.4 grams. So the maximum weight would be 6 plus 0. So we add 6 grams plus the 0.6, and that equals 6.6 grams. So that's the maximum number of the nitro ointment that we are allowed to weigh, that we are allowed to use once we begin making our prescription. So next is the ointment base. So remember, this is the nitroglycerin, and then this is the ointment base that we have. And with the minimum and maximum number allowed, how we'll calculate that and figure that out is we'll take the 54 grams that we got in the beginning of our ointment base. So remember, we got the 60 grams of ointment base and we subtracted that by the 6 grams, which we got 54 grams. So with the margin of error, we will figure out the minimum weight allowed for the ointment base. So 54 times 0.1. So we multiply 54 times 0.1 equals 5.4 grams. So we take the 54 minus 5.4, that what we just got, which equals 48.6 grams. So that's the minimum allowable weight for the ointment base. So the next step is 54 plus 5.4, which equals 59.4 grams. And that is the maximum weight allowed. So for the ointment base, so we got the minimum and then we got the maximum allowable weight. So now that I'm done with my calculations, next I have to gather my necessary materials. So I have my gloves, I have my spatula, I have the ointment, the 0.2% nitroglycerin ointment, and then I have the ointment base, which is 60 grams, and then I have the container. We have our empty container where all of the contents will go inside of here. So this is our empty container. And then we have our weighing scale right here, and we have our weighing bolts. We have our alcohol prep pads, and then we have our parchment paper. And that is everything that I will be using in this procedure. So now we have to wash our hands. So let's get that. Hi, so next step is aesthetic technique. So I'm gonna wash my hands. I'm gonna get a paper towel. I'm gonna get this paper towel, and then we're gonna cut on the faucet with this paper towel. So we always have to make sure that the water is lukewarm. Okay, so make sure your arms are not, hitting the sink or anything like that. So I'm washing my hands. Okay, so I'm going to get another paper towel. And I'm going to turn it off. And then I'm going to dry my hands. So that is it. So next step, we put on our gloves. Okay, gloves are on. And then next step, we clean our materials with this. So clean the spatula. Okay. Clean our weighing belt. We clean our weight scale. And then we clean this. So all right. Okay. I don't know. Trying to make sure it's showing, but okay. So now we're going to weigh the ingredients. So I need to place this on top of here. Then this. Okay. So now we grab our materials. So we're gonna weigh them. So we're gonna weigh the ointment base first. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna put it in the weighing boats. And with the ointment base, remember that it is 54 grams that we have to weigh, but it's not gonna be kind of exact. So we have the minimum and maximum weight allowed, which is given to us, which was 48.6 grams and 59.4 grams. So I'm gonna put all this stuff in here. Uh-oh. Okay. Okay. 47. I think we're good. Okay. So that's what I have, 52.1 grams. Remember that it is the minimum and maximum weight allowed. So it doesn't have to be exact every single time. So that's what I have right there. So I did not receive the small little squares of parchment paper to put the 0.2% nitroglycerin on. So I'm just going to use one of these little small weighing boats. And yeah, so I'm going to grab this. I've already weighed the 54 grams or the maximum weight allowed for the ointment base. We're going to do the 0.2% nitroglycerin, which with all the calculations that we did first, we got 6 grams that we need to go into the ointment base that we're going to mix later on in this video. So I'm going to grab this and I'm going to put it in here. Okay, so it's over just a little bit. So I'm gonna have to take some of it out. So this is the minimum and maximum weight allowed that you will need for the prescription. So this is what I have, and it keeps moving. I don't know why, but that's what I had. I had to take some of it out of there because it was way too much, like 7.0 something grams. So okay, so now that we got our nitroglycerin ointment and then we have our ointment base, now we have to mix the two together. So that is what I'm gonna do. So we have to, this is our ointment base and our weighing boat. So I'm gonna put this down in here, down on the ointment paper. And so make sure that you're mixing it very well, that it's all in one. Okay, yep. Okay. There's that. So next we're going to put the contents inside of the empty bottle. So in the ointment container. So you make sure that you put it on the, when you're putting it in the container, put it in on the sides first, like this. Okay, so now that we have all of the mixtures together added inside of the ointment container, we are going to label the prescription. So again, so in the beginning I said we are doing a prescription for Majar Davidson. So I'm going to find the prescription on here. So I'll put it on the bottle. Okay. So you'll put it on the bottle. And then I have to assign the correct beyond use date. So on the prescription, what it says is 12/14/2020, and it is going to be 30 days from now. So 12/14/2020 would be January 1st, 2020. So this is December 14th, 2020. So the beyond use date will be January the 13th, 2020. Okay, so, and this is what is on the prescription label. Okay, so, and then the next step would be complete the compounding record. So you'll have to write down both prescriptions, so the nitroglycerin ointment and then the ointment base. You'll have to write down the dosage, the NDC, so National Drug Code, the number on the compounding record. Then you'll have to write down the dosage form for both the ointment base and nitroglycerin, and I'll show you guys exactly what a compounding record looks like. I don't really have the compounding record to actually show you guys and write everything down, but I think this will help a lot. So this will be our compounding record, and you see there's the drug name, there's the NDC, strength, manufacturer, dosage form, package size, quantity, and everything like that. So with what was given to me, my nitroglycerin ointment, which is 0.2%, the NDC will go there, the lot number. It gives you a lot number, so right here, it gives you the lot number and the expiration date, and you will put all that information on the compounding record. Same with the ointment base. You'll put all that information on the compounding record.